Big listener request. If you want to request a movie, all you got to do is leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Now, here's the tricky thing about this. I can't read, or it's like on my phone, I can't see the foreign countries. So we have a bunch of reviews that I never saw.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, me neither. Or I was using Chartable. They seem to be winding down. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. So if you leave a foreign review, I got bad news. You're going to have to screenshot it and send it to me on X at Men on Film Pod, because that's the easiest way to communicate with me. But we got one. Somebody said they want to listen to us talk about Highlander. I rewatched this the other day, and the times have changed. Anyhow, looking forward to more fun banter.
From another time comes a man of great power.
You talk funny, Nash. Where are you from?
Lots of different places. A warrior of incredible strength.
You've the devil in you.
We've been kinsmen 20 years.
Connor MacLeod was my kinsman. I don't know who you are.
Because you were born different, men will fear you, try to drive you away.
A man uncertain of his future.
What you got here, Brenda, is a guy who's been creeping around since at least 1700.
It's not possible.
And haunted by his past.
Wait a minute, Nash. I want some answers.
You cannot die, MacLeod.
I am Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. I was born in 1518 in the village of Glenfinnan on the shores of Loch Shiel. And I am immortal.
A hero who is about to face his greatest challenge.
You will always be weaker than I.
What can you tell me about a 7-foot lunatic hacking away with a broadsword at 1 o'clock in the morning, New York City, 1985?
Not much.
For he is not alone.
In the end, there can be only one.
Highlander, there can be only one.
Now, I like this movie. It's a silly film, but there's something very likable about Highlander.
There's nothing I didn't like about this movie. It's basically like Star Wars, just with swords instead and a Scottish theme, but I did like it. It's fucking awesome. Good villains, good music.
Another movie it reminded me of is The Terminator. Kind of like a reverse Terminator. Like instead of them coming from the future, they're people from the past.
Sure. Makes sense.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was originally asked to be in the movie. They offered him the role of Kurgan, and he turned it down. He turned it down saying, Iron? No, he had already done Terminator. He was already making other movies, and he said he didn't want to play a villain anymore.
All right. Interesting take.
So they got another actor, Clancy Brown. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite actors. He's in a bunch of shit.
Yeah, he was really good in Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption, he plays the guard. He's a real prick at that movie. He's in a great Sean Penn movie called Bad Boys. He plays a very tough. He's like the toughest guy in the juvenile delinquent jail.
So not the Will Smith movie, but some other movie named Bad Boys.
Yeah, a really awesome movie. And now this movie does have some weird casting choices. We got Christopher Lambert, Christopher Lambert playing a Scottish guy, and then we got Sean Connery playing an Egyptian Spanish guy
who works for an English king.
and there's
Makes
like no
sense.
there's like no effort to deal with the accents
No.
or any of that shit.
Christopher Lambert is a total douche in this movie, kind of fruitcakey, but he is so charismatic. He's so likable. I don't know why. Every scene I'm like, oh, this guy's an idiot, but I like him in this movie so much.
Yeah, there's something very likable about him. There's something very it's like he pulls off all the New York scenes. I think he works better in because he feels like a guy who's been around a long time. And that's kind of what he brought to Raiden in Mortal Kombat. This like knowledge. But in Mortal Kombat he played a Japanese guy, I guess,
Right.
or Chinese or whatever, like Asian.
I think Raiden is Japanese. Seems to be. Will make sense to me.
Now this movie was written by a guy who was in film school. Hold on one second. I'm hearing an echo.
From me?
I can't tell. Testing.
I don't hear an echo there.
I hear it from your head. Are your headphones loud?
How about now?
Testing. No, I don't hear it. Okay, good.
Okay, I lowered it about half strength. Maybe that's it.
Okay, so the guy who wrote this movie was in college, and he was in Scotland. He saw some armor, and he thought, like, what if that guy was still alive? And this guy had all this different armor. So he wrote this little script. Then it's made by like a small production company. Somehow Sean Connery got a hold of it. He ended up in it somehow. And then Christopher Lambert's in it. And then next thing you know, it's like a big movie. And this dude just got lucky. It's kind of like Lethal Weapon. That guy wrote his screenplay in college. So in the 80s, there was a real desire to make original films, to make original IP. And that doesn't exist anymore. That's just totally out the window. Now they just remake things. But Gremlins, that guy was really young. Christopher Columbus, he was like in college. So there was, if you had an interesting idea, if you had a novel idea, you could get your movie made in the 80s and be a screenwriter. Now they don't even care. They're like, we don't want to see original movies. We don't like original movies. There's no money in original movies. The whole business is like fucked because it costs something like $30 to $75 million to market a movie.
Holy moly. Yeah, that is
So
one thing I noticed at the beginning of this movie that was not off-putting, but different, that it was made by some studio I had never heard of or produced by something I'd never heard of, which you would not see in a mainstream movie these days.
Yeah, there's no like Paramount Pictures logo. It's like some weird like foreign company. Back then it was all about the high concept film. We've talked about this before. So the high concept of Highlander is, what if there are these immortal beings who have been alive for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, and they were in New York City, and in this urban jungle, this environment, the city environment, they were having like samurai sword fights. They're having one-on-one duels.
Is this the Gathering that they're talking about? Gathering was in New York City, or is that still to happen? Okay, we're watching the Gathering in this movie. Okay,
we're watching the Gathering, and it seems to be made up of 3 people.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure of. I thought there'd be a couple more, but whatever.
So that's the other thing. They didn't understand. Like, they weren't planning on making a thing that would become a 6-movie series with an anime, multiple television series, comic books, novels. This whole thing ended up becoming an IP afterwards. It ended up becoming a franchise where you ended up with all these like crazy sequels that are building in the world. But in the first movie, the world isn't, that whole vision, that grand vision isn't there. And all the sequels are crazy. There's so much, it's like Looney Tunes compared to the first one. But the thing I like about the first one is the charisma of the actors. They're naturally likable. And the directing is awesome by Russell McCullough. The movie just looks amazing.
What's IP? You said this movie is an IP. What does IP mean?
IP means intellectual property. So when you see a movie like Alien Romulus that just came out this summer, the IP is the Alien franchise. It's a sequel. Or you'll have a movie like G.I. Joe, or there's a Lego movie. Like everything is a fucking remake of something else. And it's kind of the death knell of movies. Like today, there's a big trailer release 28 years later. That's the second sequel to a movie 28 days later. There was a sequel 28
months or something.
Weeks later.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like, okay, a lot of people are excited about this movie 28 years later. It's a sequel to a movie that came out in 2003. That's 21 years ago. Like, it's so fucking weird how this is a thing. Or 2002. Like, when we were kids, Terminator 2 was like, whoa, this is a sequel to Terminator. That came out 8 years ago. That was like a crazy long time for a sequel. Now it's like common for a sequel to be like 20 years, 30 years. Beetlejuice 2, Beetlejuice, that came out this summer. The first one came out in 1988. So that was a 36-year difference. And so
they don't care if you saw the first one, and they probably prefer you didn't, right? You're appealing to a new crowd now, right? The people that seen the first one are going to want to see the second one, and then the second one's far enough ahead of time that like new younger people are going to see it, right?
They do a thing where they're like, the parents are expected to take the kids.
That's Beetlejuice, obviously.
Yeah, and it's like, or like Dune was a big movie this year. That's based on the novel Dune. That's an IP. Like, because the marketing is so expensive, they want to capitalize on the marketing or the familiarity, the audience familiarity of the source property. So everything is like, nothing's original. And the only thing that they do make original now are horror movies. Horror movies are, for some reason, can be original. So, a horror movie right now is like the best showcase if you're a new director, a new writer. You want to write a really unique horror film, something like Long Legs, very low budget, $10 million. It has Nicolas Cage in it, has a movie star. Like, that used to be the old way. You go like, well, audiences like movie stars. So if we advertise based on Christopher Lambert being in it, we got a hit. He's huge in Europe. So Long Legs, that movie cost 10 million. It made 100 million. That's like huge.
Did that movie also have a 30 or 60 million dollar marketing budget? Okay, so yeah, I'm about to say, was the marketing budget was more than the movie, or
no? But a lot of new movies, they will actually have marketing budgets more than the movie costs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, yeah, that's wild.
Because that's basically how a studio operates. They just are a factory, and they're playing the big game, right? That's the world they operated. They're not interested in small bets; they're into big bets.
Mm-hmm.
So a little company like Neon, they would make a movie like Long Legs. What their marketing team did is actually like being studied. There's like articles written about it. Like, how did you actually market this movie? And how did you actually, they're like, there's like articles being written like, how did you make money making a movie? We don't know how to do that anymore. Like, the business is so fucked. But that's how it's going. And the sad thing is, this happened with movies. Now it's happening with TV. So if you go on HBO this year, the Penguin is a big show. That's like a DC character. And then now there's a Dune prophecy show. They're driven by fear, and they don't know how to make anything good. So they're like, we'll make Harry Potter now. Like, the big thing HBO is working on is a Harry Potter full series retelling, but every book is a season. So It's literally a remake of Harry Potter. And it's like the movies were fine. They just came out. People like them. But, they're like, at this point, the first one's maybe over 20 years old. So,
Well, it looks like they're trying to bleed Star Wars dry as much as they can. They got a new show every friggin' year and all this stuff that nobody seems to be watching, or I guess people are watching because they keep making it. But
yeah, I was driving in LA and I saw a billboard for Star Wars Skeleton Crew with Jude Law. And it just looks so fucking bad. The billboard looked ugly. The creatures looked stupid.
and I don't like them shoehorning in Jude Law just to put a name into it. It seems kind of strange.
And it's like the parents are like, "Oh, Jude Law, I like him. I'll watch it. He's a great actor. We got to give him great roles."
He's in that cop movie or something, right? Some new movie you saw that was good.
Yeah, I saw this new movie called The Order.
That's what it was. The Order. No.
Okay, now this movie, The Order, this is an original movie. It's out right now. I recommend everyone see it. Now the IP The Order is based on is essentially the Turner Diaries.
It is the Turner Diaries. Okay, you weren't joking. I thought you were joking about that. That's funny.
It's based on a true story of this guy named Bob Matthews. He was a white power gang leader. He was obsessed with the Turner Diaries.
Of course.
So in the movie, he's a real person. If you look up Bob Matthews, he's reading the Turner Diaries in the movie, and he's getting his ideas from the Turner Diaries. So in the Turner Diaries, they are.
It's a race war.
It's a race war, and there's like 7 steps. Like first you recruit, then you fundraise, and then you train, and then you start like doing domestic terrorism. A couple steps later, it's like end the federal government, like you attack the federal government, bring it to its knees. These guys were robbing armored trucks, Brinks trucks, taking the cash and buying guns. The other thing they were doing was counterfeiting money. There's like great documentaries you can go on YouTube and watch and get the real information of Bob Matthews and his gang. I mean, they're horrible racists and anti-Semites, but I just think it's amazing. Like if anyone can get away with like a bank robbery, to me is like the best thing in a movie. That's the kind of IP I like.
Yeah, it's tough to get away with a robbery like that now.
Yeah, so
damn near impossible. And you can't steal enough money at the bank. They probably don't have enough cash in the bank anymore.
No, so doing the Brinks trucks is really smart. And these guys ended up stealing like almost $4 million.
Whoa.
And the FBI only recovered a quarter of it. So 3/4 of their money ended up being dispersed to other anti-federalist white power gangs. And I first heard of this group because this year there was an HBO documentary about Timothy McVeigh, and he may have received funding or training from one of these affiliated groups.
Timothy McVeigh used to go around to different events and sell the Turner Diaries. He was really big into it. Like that's what he was doing at the Waco situation. He was selling the Turner Diaries while he was there watching what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a part in the movie The Order. They talk about like, right now they're robbing banks. Soon they're going to be blowing up federal buildings, poisoning they had a real plan, Bob Matthews, to poison the LA water supply.
What was the goal of that?
I don't know. I don't know how. It's like they were in Idaho, hundreds of members at best, but I don't know how many people actually with guns. But like, what did they think they were gonna do to the federal government? Like, you can't just, if you poison the LA County water supply, it's like that costs what, several $1 billion to replace all the pipes or whatever. Like, I don't know. You kill a lot of people, but
what do you get out of it? Yeah. What does killing civilians have to, do with promoting white power? I don't quite get that, but whatever.
Because they're ultimately crazy and they have
they're not smart.
But
Poison
They're
the
like,
water in commie California. They live in Idaho. They don't care or whatever.
they wanted their own state where they could just be white and just not have other races.
Supposedly
Like
that's kind of like how Idaho is, right? I don't know. I've never been there.
Like the federal government would be like, okay, you guys got us, you get your own land. And we'll enact a trade agreement and we'll, supply power and like protection or whatever. Like, guys, the federal government is pretty cool, and I think we need to show them a little more respect for what they do. Okay. Who's going to test the meat?
Who's going to test the water?
Yeah. Who's going to give us great vaccines that work and aren't poison? But enough about the order, which we might do in an episode if it comes out in 3 weeks because it bombs, because it's not based on an IP other than the Turner Diaries. Back to Highlander. Now, Highlander, this movie, I mean, it's got it all. It's got swords. It's got Scottish people. It's got beautiful vistas.
Cool costumes.
It's got villains, heroes, passion. It has another cool thing about Highlander that you just don't see today. And that was like, I think part of why the listener picked it is that it's R-rated. It's a little grungier, a little dirtier, and a little nastier than the version of it today. Like today would be PG-13. It would not have nudity. It wouldn't have a sex scene.
There's like 2 sex scenes too that are pretty hot.
Yeah. So I like all that stuff. That kind of makes it it gives it a little extra flavor, a little extra spice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked how it was kind of dated by like the cars and the clothing and everything, but I like how it was dated. It was like making me nostalgic for the 80s, even though I didn't fucking live in the 80s. It made me think about how cool stuff about the 80s were.
Yeah,
cars, the guns, the long trench coats, all that shit.
The shoes, the sneakers, like Christopher Lambert wears sneakers. I thought he looked like the guy in Terminator, Kyle Reese.
Yeah, a little bit. Trench
coat, sneakers. I wonder if that was just coincidence. Is it part of the flavor? I mean, but yeah, older movies that can be fun with watching an old film just to see the past. It's like, you don't get like that. To me is it literally gets like, it's like, oh yeah, that becomes more valuable every year. Oh, like this is how the world looked in 1986. This is I was 3 years old. I don't really remember it, but I kind of remember it. So that's nostalgic for me. It gives me like a little insight to what it was like when I was a wee babe.
I don't remember the 80s at all. What I think of the 80s is the early 90s.
That's tragic, dude.
Yeah.
The last thing, one of the earliest memories I have is Ronald Reagan not resigning, but ending his presidency, and George H.W. Bush being like signed in. I remember watching that with my dad.
I remember George W. Bush getting inaugurated because it was in Disneyland, right? George H.W. Bush getting inaugurated because he did it in Disneyland, and I do remember that.
I don't even remember it being at Disneyland. I just remember Ronald Reagan getting on a plane and shit. But this movie, now, the first thing we see in Highlander, a wrestling match. Did you recognize any of these wrestlers?
No, I did not. I was looking, but I did not recognize them.
Apparently they are kind of like wrestler, super fans know who they are. But
well, back then there was no like overarching. I mean, there was the WWF, but there were also a lot of smaller like local wrestling groups that eventually got sewed up into the WWF, but this was still a time when there was regional wrestlers or whatever you want to call it.
So originally it was going to be a hockey match, and the hockey match, the guys were going to use their sticks and fight each other. And then McClade, Christopher Lambert, was going to have a flashback of the past, but the NHL was like, we're not into fighting. This is going to make us look bad.
The only sport that allows fighting, fighting would look bad. That's funny.
So the wrestling is just hilarious because it's not like a tough match. Like these guys are kind of like showboating and they're doing like funny things, dancing, and like they're hitting each other and knocking each other over and everything. But it's it's very funny because it's like this silly wrestling match, and then you see Christopher Lambert like in deep thought, haunted by visions of the past. And so apparently he's psychic. He has like a sixth sense, and he can feel the energy of the other Highlander. So I guess this is like 4 guys. So this guy Fassel is in the parking lot. He goes down the parking lot and they have a sword match. And Christopher Lambert has a Japanese sword, and this guy has like it looks like French or Spanish or something. But this first fight scene, did you notice all the sparks when they're like slicing when the swords contact each other?
Yes.
Apparently they connected car batteries to the blades.
Jesus.
And if you look, they're always wearing gloves.
Yeah, so that ain't safe.
So they're electrocuting the swords on contact and creating an arc. And
DC power too. That's dangerous.
Hey, it looks good. So this director, Russell McCullough, people call him the poor man's Ridley Scott, and he directed Ricochet. Now, Ricochet, at the beginning of the movie, John Lithgow has a sword fight.
Yes, with Jesse Ventura.
It's a homage to Highlander.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the windows are blue, just like the ending and everything.
Sure. Jesse Ventura is a lot like Kurgan. Now,
Ridley Scott made a movie that was very influential in Highlander called The Duelist with Harvey Keitel. Have you seen it?
I've seen portions of it. I've never watched the whole movie through, but I knew when he had the duel that was clearly influenced by The Duelist. I could see that.
Now, The Duelist is it's a really good movie. I want to do on the pod. So Keith Carradine's an officer in the French army, and Harvey Keitel is an officer in the French army during the Napoleonic Wars. And for whatever reason, I forget, Harvey Keitel challenges Keith Carradine to a duel.
Dueling is outlawed, and Harvey Keitel keeps dueling, and the other dude needs to go stop him from dueling because you're not supposed to be dueling anymore, right?
Well, no. What happens is that he keeps surviving the duel, and Harvey Keitel is like, I'm going to find you again. I'm going to fucking duel with you. Like, he will not leave him alone. It's like basically like a prick just gets obsessed with you and then won't leave you the fuck alone. And it's kind of like the way Kurgan wants to fight Christopher Lambert. So there's some parallels there, but it's a much more realistic film. So no one gets their head cut off and then lightning shoot out the body, and then the guy having an orgasm going, oh, like sucking up the energy. Now, they're not just sucking up the energy. Apparently, they're sucking up the knowledge of the other person. They're getting everything they know. And everybody they killed that they had the quickening with, they get that too.
Whoa.
So you're getting, like, you're sucking in, like, countless beings during the quickening.
Sean Connery says how Kurgan is like the perfect warrior and blah blah blah. Kurgan should be the last one. Should the last Highlander be the ultimate warrior or the ultimate, killer or whatever? But I guess you got.
He also says if Kurgan wins, there will be 1,000 years of darkness.
Oh, no.
You don't want that, Mike.
Yeah, I mean,
the 20th century was going pretty well.
Yeah,
with
1,000 years of darkness could mean a lot of things.
World War I, World War II, Cold War, Vietnam,
Korean War, Afghanistan, Iraq,
Middle East conflicts.
Oh my God.
Chinese-Japanese conflict. I mean, it's just been endless war for 1,000 years. I don't know what Kurgan is going to do. We won't have a good old USA.
Oh no.
Leading the charge, killing Killing people who just don't like the federal government. What's wrong with what? Hey, some people don't want a federal government. They want to have their own government. It's bullshit, right?
Yeah, I mean, you need some sort of something across the whole country. Can't just let states do what they want. We had a civil war over that.
Can I have my own state?
No, you may not.
What about Puerto Rico?
Not even a state.
Do they pay taxes?
I believe so. And they get to vote too, right? But no senator.
Yeah, same with Washington, D.C. Yeah, this federal government, man, it's like, you want me to respect you? Well, you need to make some new states. D.C., PER, Guam, DR, Dominican Republic. Come on.
Haiti.
Haiti. Is that I don't believe that's our territory. Haiti's a free and it's a
no
free
federal
country.
Government.
It's a free country and they're allowed to do whatever they want.
Well, we own the Dominican Republic? I thought they're their own country or something.
Not anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
Mexico, Canada, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
Now, the cops arrest Christopher Lambert, but they don't charge him. They got nothing because he hit his sword.
They heavily interrogate him using the Reed method, the most intense interrogation I've ever seen.
They have two theories. One is, all right, my theory is you wanted to buy a sword, you didn't like the price, so you cut his head off. And the other thing, the younger cop says this. He's like, you a faggot, Nash. You went down there for a blowjob and didn't want to pay for it, so you cut his head off.
I love that part where he fucks up there. He like starts fighting with the cops and all the prostitutes get all happy and cheering and everything. That was a cool scene.
And then he's like, am I under arrest? No, then I can leave. And then he just walks out after fighting the cops.
Yeah, it was funny.
These cops aren't really figuring out. They're not getting to the bottom of the case. But while this goes on, between every other scene, we go back to Scotland and we see young Connor McLeod, 15, and then like a guy is yelling like, it's the year of 1536. Which is cool. Then you don't have to have like the title, like 1536 on the bottom. It's a little on the nose, but basically they're doing like Braveheart shit. They're like fighting. Well, they're fighting other clans.
Well, the one dude is in Braveheart. That James Cosmo, the guy who plays Angus.
Yeah,
he's the old dude in Braveheart. He's the young dude in this movie now.
Redhead, beard. He looks exactly the same.
Yes, he does.
It's only like a 10-year difference between those two movies too, so it makes sense.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But Kurgan is the bad guy of the other clan. He just wants to fight Christopher Lambert. Kurgan's like, save him for me. So the Christopher Lambert is like running to the battlefield, like, why won't anybody fight me? Come on, fight me. Fight me. Nobody will fight me. Come on, what's happening? And then Kurgan's like, I want you. It's kind of homoerotic.
Very.
And so he stabs Connor McLeod in the belly, killing him. Or so we think. Because that night, he's like laying in bed and he's dying and he's surrounded by his girlfriend and his friends. And then he comes back to life.
I mean, he was clearly breathing still. He never died there. And I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but you could see him breathing.
And they're like, I liked Connor. I don't know who you are anymore, man. You're the devil. And his girlfriend's like, burn him.
Yeah.
Burn him. I hate him.
She turns on him on a dime there.
I thought they would think he was cool. Like,
yeah.
He survived.
Yeah,
what do they know?
Problem?
What do they know? What do they fucking care? I thought they would be like, oh, he's cool. He's Christopher Lambert.
Yeah.
He has a big scar in his belly. But he gets banished. He leaves, and then he starts a new life. He has his own little like windmill castle thing going on. This blonde chick, and
She's fine.
he meets. And then one day, Sean Connery shows up, playing an Egyptian Spaniard.
Some sort of sword maker for the king. Is a very strange backstory.
I'm Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and he finds him while he's banging a chick, his girlfriend.
Nice titty.
Like, he's like humping her, and then he like shows up on a horse, and he's wearing this like crazy outfit with a huge feather. It's an amazing costume. And it looks cool as hell. And he's on a horse, and the horse, it's like a white horse, I believe. And it's
yes.
It's just regal. We don't get this kind of rich, vibrant, beautiful imagery in movies anymore.
What did you think that red suit was supposed to be? Like a Spanish royal or something with the peacock feathers?
Yeah, he's playing a Spanish guy.
Oh, okay.
Who's Egyptian, but he also says he's Egyptian.
And he also says he works for the King of England.
Yeah, and he also has a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
So
it's all over the place.
This is in England, actors don't do fake accents. So when you make a movie about French people and you speak English, traditionally in England, they would just use their normal accent and not pretend. Kind of like Paz of Glory in America.
It worked in Death of Stalin.
Yes, but it's in this
that
movie.
Was
it's
a European movie.
But in this movie, it's distracting because Sean Connery is the most famous Scottish actor of all time.
Sure.
So it's like Christopher Lambert's accent is terrible.
Yeah, you can't even tell what his accent is. It's not clear. It's like, is it French? Oh no, he's Belgium or French Canadian or something, or
he's like, I don't know. He's a French speaking person, and
that's what it is. Okay, he's
French. Trying to give himself a flat accent, like he could be from anywhere, but he just seems like a guy who doesn't speak English.
Yeah, it's very garbled the way he sounds,
and he's kind of cross-eyed, right?
Yeah, was that you in the text or someone saying that he's damn near blind and he's doing all these scenes without contacts or glasses and he has a really hard time seeing?
I mean, it looks like that.
I don't know where I read that or I saw that, but yeah, I saw that he's very hard of seeing. And then after reading that, I kind of noticed in the movie how he's kind of squinting and having a hard time seeing things. So it makes sense.
He's always cross-eyed and very calm and very zen.
Yeah.
But he loses his temper because Sean Connery he basically becomes Yoda. And he's like, get on a boat and you have to balance. And Sean Connery will hit him with an oar and then he'll fall in the water. And Christopher Lambert will be like, help, I can't swim. I can't breathe. I'm drowning. And then he goes underwater. He's like, I can breathe underwater. Yeah. This is amazing. And he's just like in
laughing
this
hysterically.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, he's in this giant fish tank. It looks pretty damn good.
It did.
And it's very much exactly like Luke Skywalker and Yoda.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like Star Wars.
So,
And then Sean Connery turns into Obi-Wan when he starts fighting Kurgan, and it's almost exactly the same.
And Kurgan is like Darth Vader.
Yes.
And Kurgan cuts, or I guess Sean Connery cuts Kurgan's throat, but doesn't take the head off.
Yes.
Kurgan kills Sean Connery. Does he quicken? I forget.
Yeah, he does. The quickening happens.
And then he grabs the girl, and the scene ends. And we find out later that he just raped the shit out of her.
Yes. And she didn't tell Christopher Lambert for some reason.
And I think this is a really good plot point. I mean, it's really nasty and mean, but when that reveal happens at the church and Christopher Lambert finds out this all happened, I mean, it's just infuriating. because he loved his wife. Because here's the thing with the Highlander, they're kind of like a vampire. They live their entire lives. They never get older. The people around them age and die like pets. You know, like your cat, your dog, or your fish has a shorter lifespan.
Of course.
That's like this with every human they love, every mere mortal. So when Christopher Lambert finds out that like his beautiful blonde wife got raped by Clancy Brown, I mean, that just pisses him the fuck off.
There's nothing you can do about it because you're on holy ground. You can't fight on holy ground, which they didn't go over. They didn't seem religious to me.
They're literally immortal.
Yeah, I don't understand how that would make sense.
Another movie this writer wrote, The Prophecy, with Christopher Walken, about angels. So maybe he's a man. He's a man interested in immortal beings.
He's a man of faith. Nothing wrong with that. It's a free country here. You can be however religious you want.
And then everything about the Highlander. Okay, like we keep calling them the Highlanders, the Immortals, but it's only because Christopher Lambert is in Highlander, and that's in the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah, he's a Highlander. Kurgan is not necessarily a Highlander, and neither is Sean Connery, right?
Right, but I keep calling them Highlanders. And who made the Highlanders? We don't know. Yeah. What's the purpose of this contest where these random immortals fight? We don't know. Why is there a time limit? Not really. Eventually there will be a gathering, but it ends up being in New York City where Christopher Lambert lives. So that's
and there's only two other immortals.
That's convenient. There's like this one black guy on a bridge and he's like, "Hey man, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time." He's like, "Oh, I love you." That guy gets killed by Kurgan. In a great scene where a guy is just driving around, a brand new character we've never seen before.
Yeah. Sick ass Firebird Trans Am, car full of guns.
Matunis.
Yeah.
He has like Uzis and
he's got an Uzi, a Mac-10, an AK-47. He's got a bunch of guns. We'll talk about the Mac-10 later.
He just drives around and goes like, "Hey, what the fuck?" And he sees Kurgan fighting the Black Highlander guy, who I forgot his name, or I didn't write it down. And he's just watching
like
this.
An undercover cop or something? Because the cops come visit him in the hospital later.
No, he's just a witness, and the cops are like, "We can trust him."
That's what it was. Yeah,
he's a military guy. We can trust him.
Yes.
We're not going to get him on gun charges in New York City. So Kurgan kills that guy. He gets the quickening. The witness Marine guy tells the cops, and the cops are like, "Oh boy, Looney Tunes." Cuckoo, cuckoo. Who cares what he thinks? Luckily, there's other witnesses. Did you recognize the bald cop?
Is he the private eye in The Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's also the dry
barber.
The dry cleaning guy in Man Who Wasn't There.
Yeah, the gay businessman. Yes.
And he does he takes undoes his collar.
Yeah. It was a great scene.
Is that a pass?
No, of course not.
That's over the line.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
So okay, now back to the Highlander battles, the gathering, the whole thing. Where does it come from? What's the point? All of this is dismissed in the screenplay by Sean Connery saying, "Why does the sun come up? Who pokes the holes in the sky to make the stars?" So it's just, I guess we never find out.
Well, I mean, come on, it's a movie. You gotta have some movie magic or some unknown shit, or else it's just the story's gonna be boring.
Of course, I get it. I like the tragic nature of the Highlander. I like that Christopher Lambert is born this way. There's nothing he can do about it. He can't escape it. He can live his own quiet life because they'll keep coming to him. I think that's an interesting idea and conflict. I bring this up mainly just to show a difference between the movies we have today, where everything is explained and everything has like a big explanation and everything is noted to death. It's cool that this movie got made by people just, doing the best they could,
Do
being
they explain
evocative.
any of that story in any of the sequels or the TV show? Do they explain any of that?
I've only seen the second movie,
Oh, okay.
Highlander, The Quickening. Now the second movie is completely insane.
Nice.
It's completely off the rails. So when you make a movie, it costs millions of dollars, and the financial people need to be protected. They need to be delivered a product at the end of this business deal, right? So they have a bond company who is a middleman, and they take over if the movie goes to hell. It's like a plot point of Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, the Bond guy. Remember?
The Bond Stooge.
So they decided to shoot the second movie in Buenos Aires, Argentina,
All right.
it,
To save money?
to save money and had cool architecture. However, something happened where their economy imploded during the shoot or during pre-production or something, and then the Bond company had to take over the movie. And something crazy like the Bond company forced script changes. In the second movie, it's revealed, like Sean Connery comes back too. It's revealed Sean Connery and Christopher Lambert are part of an alien race,
Nice.
and they didn't like any of these ideas, and they had to make the movie. But then there was a second edit, and they did some reshoots, and they fixed it. Or there's a thing called the Renegade version. It's an insane movie. Even if you watch the Renegade version, which is the one I watched, it's completely nuts.
How do they get in other Immortals? Sean Connery comes back to life, and then
I don't remember.
they just find other Highlanders somehow.
Sean Connery's alive now, and they just come back. It's just like completely contrived and stupid. And then the third one I tried to watch, the one with Mario Van Peebles, I couldn't even get more than like 20 minutes. I couldn't even the Final Dimension. And then there was a around the 90s, like the mid 90s, there was a TV series where the guy had like the ponytail and like the vest, and Adrian Paul. So then there's a movie called Highlander Endgame where Christopher Lambert meets the TV guy, Adrian Paul. So that's kind of like the Star Trek Generations.
Jesus, wow.
So that's the fourth one. And then there's like two more sequels, and I don't even know if they came out in the movie theater. So it's a franchise with no, I believe, no shepherd. There is no creator controlling what goes in and what goes out. Like they're just trying to keep it going. So it's very soulless. There is no grand vision anymore. At least I don't think so. I'm sure there has to be someone in charge making some decisions, but I don't know. I don't know who it is or what. I'm not super into the Highlander movies. I like the first one. I like but
I feel like I've seen the TV show, but yeah, I've only seen the first one.
Is anyone like who has seen every one of these fucking things? There's even an anime. Like, who is this guy? Like the Highlander. I'm the Highlander geek, and it's my birthday, so I got the DVD box set, and I'm gonna watch it all. Like someone out there is doing it. Like it's like Stargate, the TV show. It's like a thing that ran for 6 years, and then there's like other versions of the show. Like, who the fuck is watching this show?
Cult following. It's like a cult classic or something.
Yeah, definitely a cult. Do you think there's anybody in Idaho? Like, I got this. We're watching. We're gonna do the Gathering. We're gonna do the Highlander.
Yes, I believe there are some.
We're gonna do the federal government. We gotta fund bank rob. We're gonna rob banks, and we're gonna fund our own gathering, and we're gonna chop the heads off of all the other area nation leaders. So we will narrow it down to just one. The last white man alive. It could happen. You know, it's a cult.
The Juggalos have a gathering. Maybe they could do something with it. I
A
think
sword fight.
they're probably pretty big in Idaho, white trashy areas.
What about like a Fight Club?
Well,
ri-
we went to one of those. That didn't turn out so well.
Yes, but like for rich guys who like kind of like fencing, but they're like samurai swords. Like let's get into like samurai sword fighting.
Kendo sticks.
But I want the real shit. Now it could be a thing like you want to watch it, and you want to watch the people get killed while you drink you have like a martini and you have like your hot girlfriend.
Have you seen that medieval MMA shit where they wear like armor and swords and fight?
Yeah, the Russian one.
Yeah, that's just hilarious.
But there's this movie I used to watch when I was a kid called, is it The Last Samurai? No, The American Samurai, kind of like American Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like rich guys would have these Mortal Kombat matches where the people would really kill each other.
Whoa.
And like
twisted.
They would like fight like a white guy would fight a ninja and like have to cut the ninja's head off. It was a cool like cable movie. Piece of garbage.
Yeah,
Probably would
like
be
it.
unwatchable now. But as a kid, I was like, whoa, he cut his head off. There's some good gore in that movie. This Kurgan guy, he's now Christopher Lambert is rich. He has all these treasures and artifacts, and he has this pimp ass New York City apartment, penthouse. What's Kurgan doing? Dressing up like a punk rocker and driving around, just raising hell.
Living in an SRO.
He has money. He goes to an SRO. The guy's like, that's $20. And he pulls out a fat wad of cash. And the guy's like, you want any drugs or girls? And then Kurgan goes to his hotel room. He opens up a briefcase. This is very 80s. The briefcase with like the
sword parts.
Like the sword parts, but then they're like the cushions are cut out like a pelican case, so they can, take the sword parts out. Like in movies, they always do this with like money and drugs, and it's always like it fits in nicely, So he takes out his sword, puts it together like it's a rifle.
Yeah.
Dude, you don't take swords apart, I don't think.
No. That can't be good for its rigidity, right? If you have it in parts.
And then he's practicing the sword, doing his sword moves in the room. And it's cool. It's like cool Russell Mulcahy, like photography and light shafts. And then this girl Candy shows up. And you think like, oh, I guess he killed this hooker. But you just find out later from the desk clerk, like, oh, you're into some kinky stuff with Candy. So he just had kinky sex with her.
If they flash Candy so quickly, it's like I can't tell if she's hot or not. It's like her body looks okay. The hair is fucked up, but I just can't quite tell if she's attractive or not.
So the interesting thing about Russell Mulcahy is he's gay. The director of this movie is gay. The director of Ricochet.
No.
The director of Ricochet.
No. How could he be?
Of Ricochet is a gay man. Now, Ricochet and Highlander, they focus way more on the men than the women, in my opinion.
Sure.
The men are more of like, they call it the the male gaze. When a director has a shot of a woman, like in a classic Hollywood movie, a woman enters a scene and the camera will like look at her like she's so beautiful. And if you're a woman in the audience who's straight, it's like, okay, I'm not in love with Elizabeth Taylor. Like, why are you just like shooting her like this? And then you're treating the guy like nothing. Well, in this movie, the men are getting the male gaze. The men are beautiful. And the women...
Same thing in Ricochet with the prostitute that Denzel Washington gets caught up with, right?
And Denzel's naked in the locker room. You see him like nude and glistening. So I'm not opposed to this kind of man meat, but show us Candy. Show us this hooker. Okay.
There's some good titties. You see the titties with the first girl. You see the titty with Rach, not Rachel.
So this character played, I don't even know her name. She's played by Roxanne Hart. This is not an attractive woman. This is like she's kind of a boring character, right?
Yeah, the love interest. I wouldn't say she's unattractive. I would say she's ugly. That's the way I would put it. I don't know how else you'd really. I don't know why you're sugarcoating it.
I don't think she's ugly.
I think she's ugly. I would say ugly.
Do you think she's a good actress?
Don't care. Doesn't matter.
I had to Google her, like what else she was in. She was like, she did some TV stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at her pictures. I don't really.
It's a real afterthought. Like, imagine if it was like Demi Moore, like a young Demi Moore, or Michelle Pfeiffer, or who's a woman? Who's an '80s woman you find attractive? You have unique. You like you don't like a skinny woman.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they're all pretty. That was the in thing.
Pam Grier
skinny at the time. Her face not so good. Okay. Body's nice, but her face not so good.
Kim Basinger.
Okay, that's getting better. It's getting better.
Hottest '80s actresses. You know who I think is the hottest actress of all time?
Monica Bellucci.
No.
Who?
I was going to say Jennifer Connelly.
When she was young, I mean, yeah, she's unbeatable.
Career opportunities.
Yeah.
Not Labyrinth, that's too young. But like that early 90s period, it's pretty untoppable. But maybe
she's pretty hot in Requiem for a Dream. She's really hot.
That whole 90s.
She seems obtainable.
What do you think about Ferris Bueller's Girlfriend?
Is that the one where she's getting out of the pool?
That's Phoebe Cates.
Ferris Bueller.
The problem is these actresses are all too young. We need a woman who's in her 30s, who's like could be like a metal expert, work for the police. You know,
Sarah. Yeah, she's all right. She's all right, I guess.
Someone like Barbara Streisand. You a fan?
No. What about
Meryl Streep?
Yeah, she was hot in that movie we just watched.
Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah, she's all right. She looked good.
So Sybil Shepherd, you like?
Yeah, she's attractive. She
was on a big show in the 80s called Moonlighting with Bruce Willis.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's very 80s. It's kind of people are watching it now because it was on Hulu. But Bruce Willis was on a comedy TV show with Sybil Shepherd. He was the love interest. And when he was in Die Hard, people were like, Bruce Willis is in an action movie.
That really changed his whole career at that point, huh?
Yeah, they pretty much did. And they're like, okay, Moonlighting's
now he's
dead.
A fucking vegetable. Sad.
It's tragic. I mean, even it goes to show you, like, no matter how much money or success you have, you could just lose your mind.
Yeah, it is sad.
A shell of a human. Like,
you can only buy so much health.
And like Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's, you know, it's like your brain works, but your body doesn't. So, you know, it would suck if you're a Highlander and you're like in a wheelchair. You're like, because, or you just have like, you're just deformed.
Can they still break bones and shit? I mean, they'd be falling from some high areas and just being like, oh, geez. You think they might break a bone or something?
You're just like in a wheelchair, like Stephen Hawking's is Highlander. Hello, I am a Highlander.
Curry just comes and just whacks his head off like a golf ball.
Oh, you should hope, because otherwise he's going to survive.
Yeah.
You can't get any better. I guess they have super powerful. They have superpowers. They can breathe underwater. You could throw. That'd be cool. I'll take Stephen Hawking's and just throw him in the ocean.
See how he does.
And he just sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and he can breathe. And he's like, "Wow, this is amazing. I am breathing underwater."
His chair dies.
Yeah, his chair doesn't work. I'm trying to see if we got anything else to talk about before we get to the big ending. I mean, we talked about, the Matunis and the sword fights. And oh, yeah, here is a funny scene. So they have a big date night, and he's like, brandy. And he opens the bottle. He's like, 1783. He can just tell the age. 1783 was a good year. And he starts naming all these facts, like Mozart wrote something and England recognized the United States. And it doesn't make any sense, but the joke I had was like, he smells like an old fart or something. He's like, 1783. But like, why would a fart be old? Would it be in a bottle? It doesn't make any like someone farted. He's like, I can smell the fart to the room. Yes.
It's like Biodome. You can tell what he ate.
Oh yeah. You ate lima beans, some tacos, pizza. That'd be cool. You could just sniff her ass. He's like, I know where you've been. You kind of like Hannibal Lecter. It's like, your father was a police officer. You know what you smell like? A rube. But yeah, anyway. Oh, there's also a cool scene where she figures out that he's replacing himself with new identities of dead kids. And this is an old identity theft trick. So back in the 80s and before computers, what you could do is you could go to another state, find out when a little kid died who was like 4, figure out his social security number, go to another state. Now they had, if you have his birth certificate or faked it or whatever, there's no, you wouldn't need a death certificate. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be in the file that the kid died. You just have a birth certificate and a social security number. So you could get his like ID, or you can make an ID of that person, blah, blah, blah. So
there's no nationwide database of who died.
Correct. Yeah. So he's been doing this thing where like a kid dies, he takes their identity, and then he passes on his inheritance to another person who was like a kid that died, and then he takes over. And we see that he's gotten in all these wacky adventures over time. Like he was in World War II. Oh, and also we're talking in the director's cut. This is the main version now. In the 80s on video, there's a theatrical cut that was shorter, but he was in like World War II and he killed a Nazi and he saved a little girl. And
he becomes his secretary.
She becomes his secretary. And then what does he say? Oh God, I wrote it down. He's like, well, you're the master race, Jack. And he like shoots him. And then there's this wacky scene where he's like a French aristocrat.
That's the duel scene. Yeah. Okay.
And he keeps getting stabbed, but he doesn't die. And the guy's all confused, like, I won the duel. And then he's like, actually, I'm alive. And the guy's like, what? Oh, let me stab you again. And he stabs him and he's like, excuse me, I'm alive. And I'm cross-eyed and I'm looking right at you. And the guy's like, it goes on way too long.
And then the guy shoots his manslave in the butt.
Yeah. So at the end, Kurgan kidnaps the girl Rachel. That's her name, Rachel. The beautiful Rachel. The 5.
No, I don't think that's right. Rachel is the secretary. And then Rachel
I wrote
also
okay, Rachel's the secretary. I wrote goodbye, Rachel. Yeah. Goodbye, Russell Nash. So kidnaps Roxanne Hart. That's the actress's name. Kurgan kidnaps her. He's driving around New York City, going the wrong way on all the streets, and he's laughing, having fun, fucking with people. He's just having a gay old time. If I was immortal, and I was thinking like, okay, if you're immortal and you can't die, like, you know what would be a great thing for you to do? Become a magician.
Hmm.
Do like tricks where you get like stabbed and you come to life.
Okay.
You know.
Give you something to do.
Now
You're already
here's
wealthy. You need a day job too.
unanswerable question. What happens if you cut off your legs? Do they
Yeah,
grow
they
back?
didn't go over that. I was wondering about that too. Is he like a starfish or is he just immortal?
What happens if they cut off your penis?
Well, he can't have kids anyway, so what's the point?
I thought at the end it turns out they can have kids. They're just not supposed to. It's not recommended.
I thought maybe that once he becomes I couldn't
Oh,
tell
the
if they're
one.
saying yeah, when he becomes the one, does he become mortal or something? Because he's saying something about like how you can grow old and da 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 da. I don't know. It's kind of didn't really make sense. But I
At
also
the
was
e-
not super paying attention.
Yeah, at the end there's a giant battle scene at Silver Cup Studios, a real shooting location in Queens, New York. And they're fighting, and she's tied up, and there's like sparks, and there's water towers falling, and there's slow motion and fog, and they're fucking fighting with their swords, and then they're on the rooftop, and they go into the building, and there's this awesome set. It's all black. There's these blue tinted windows, and they're fighting, and they're fucking going back and forth, and the chick shows up and she helps him, and he's like, oh, about time you showed up. And then eventually he cuts off Kurgan's head, and it's like the ultimate quickening. It's like the camera pushes in really far, right to Christopher Lambert's cross-eyed face. He's like, there can be only one. And then the quickening happens. There's like monster cartoons, like demon cartoons, like Beavis and Butthead looking like wispy, cloudy cartoon creatures. And like the camera zooms into his eyeball over and over and over again. And you see like a puppet head of him explode or something. I mean, the cuts are crazy, and there are all this crazy shit's happening. And the lights coming out, and he's flying in the air, and he's like, oh, he's definitely busting.
Yeah, I agree.
I believe he's also losing control of his bowels.
Okay. Some out the front, some out the back. Gotta
You
keep
know
it
what I mean?
even.
So he's the one. And him and his chick go back to Scotland, and it's beautiful. I mean, it should have just been one and done. But what am I? I mean, I didn't make it. Hey, I didn't get paid to do the 4 other movies, 6 other movies, whatever, TV show. I mean, I'm sure it was great. Money, easy work.
This movie was a hit, right? It made a lot of money, I would assume.
This movie was a bomb.
It was a bomb. Oh, really? Then why did they make all the other ones?
I don't know. It did well
I see what you're saying.
It did well in videotape.
Okay,
but the sequel was a bomb. So, it's one of those things. You know, who's in the second one is the guy from Platoon, John C. McGinley in Scrubs, who's like, I heard you save it up to be Jewish.
Yeah, he's great.
Or what are you saving up to be? Jewish? He plays a businessman.
He's great in surviving the game.
Yeah.
He's so good in that.
He's great in everything. You know what his acting process is? I heard him on the Opie and Anthony show. He juggles while reciting his lines. And
that make it more like natural or something,
just so he memorizes his lines. Oh. And if he ever drops a ball, he's like, I have to keep memorizing my line. So he's like a consummate professional. And he's in a ton of stuff. He's in The Rock 7.
Yeah.
He's in all the Oliver Stone movies. And in Born on the 4th of July, he plays an orderly. He has a very tiny part because he turned down an Oliver Stone movie and it pissed him off. And Oliver Stone was like, "You fucking asshole! I fucking made you, and you turned me down." So he's got good stories. He also has a special needs child, and you can look up like he's like he does a lot of charities for like mentally challenged children and kids mentally challenged.
Why are you almost laughing about that?
Well, it's the cover. They're on the cover of a magazine.
Okay.
Like I love my mentally challenged son magazine or something. John C. McGinley. Like it's a fucking ridiculous.
Sounds adorable.
I mean, he hates the R word.
Oh. I mean, it is a technical term, but only up to a certain age.
It's like, come on, bro. Give us the R word. I mean, we don't mean harm.
I believe differently abled is the correct terminology now.
And he's the kind of guy that could beat me up and kill me, and I would deserve it.
He kind of reminds me of Howie Long, a terrible actor, but for some reason, it just makes me think of him.
He's intense, dude. Yeah, Howie Long was in that movie about the fireman.
Firestorm.
Is that the name of the film?
I believe so.
1998. Scott Glenn.
He's a Raider.
Fight fire with fire. Howie Long was a Raider.
Yes, he was.
How are your Raiders doing this year?
Oh, we are, I believe, the first team to be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So we're already talking about next year in December.
Now, what's this I heard about the Chiefs throwing the ball backwards when the quarterback wasn't ready? They snapped when the quarterback wasn't ready, and they still won.
No, the Raiders fucked up on their last play by the center snapped the ball before the quarterback was ready. So not only was it a fumble, they also got a penalty, and it was a turnover the last play of the game. Yeah.
And they were in they could have won the game still. They had
if they would have made that pass or gotten a little bit closer, they would have been able to kick a field goal, but I'm sorry. And they also missed the field goal before that. It was just complete trash. But there's controversy that on the play where they snapped the ball too early. One of the refs from the sideline came in and called it a dead play, but they're saying that they made a call to New York, and New York wants the Chiefs to win, and there's this big conspiracy involved.
Oh, yeah, right.
The Raiders are terrible. Terrible.
Why is everything a conspiracy? Like, can't people just be inept?
Yeah, I don't know why that's the case.
How's our buddy Mark Davis doing? He's not engaged anymore?
No, he was they say he was never really engaged with that woman, nor having a child with her. They just took pictures of them together. I don't know where that, who knows what that means. If they played it that way or not, I'm not sure.
Well, they got to take down our boy. He's the greatest NFL team owner in America. Come on, give him a break.
You cannot talk about the creation of the AFC West without talking about the Raiders and Al Davis. Period. To be a Raider fan is to understand history.
Okay, what's so great about the AFC West?
It's just a new league that got invented. More teams.
With the Broncos, the Chiefs.
There used to be the National Football Conference. Now we have the American Football Conference. And when those two play is when the Super Bowl is.
But can't you say this? Okay, so like, does that just mean like, who's a new team?
The Tennessee Titans.
And they have no history, so the Raiders are better than them.
Yes.
Okay.
John Madden, the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. There's just it's the Raider image. The Raiders have a mystique that just you can't, put any.
I feel like you're grasping at straw. I mean, like, what
I became a Raider
accomplishments?
fan when they were in the Super Bowl in 2002. For the past,
Yeah, I was there. I was at the Super Bowl party with you
for the last 20 years,
and everybody was so excited.
Just been a
49ers lost last year in the Super Bowl in overtime.
Yeah, but they have 5 Super Bowl wins. Oh, I'm sorry, they have 6 now.
But like, even it was the Giants that lost. No, the Patriots lost the Super Bowl at the perfect season.
Yeah,
that was brutal loss. I mean, to be
It's
a
a great
football
game.
fan is to have your heart broken. Is it a great game?
That's what I say about the Raiders. The Raiders have taught me in my lifetime how to deal with heartbreak. They just constantly getting your heart broken, constantly redefining what rock bottom is, just going lower and lower and lower. It's been rough. It's been rough.
Okay, because I like people like the Jets are a notoriously bad team. I see they're at 3-10, and the Raiders are at 2-11.
Mm-hmm.
And I see, and then the Patriots are 3-10,
mm-hmm.
and the Titans are 3-10. The Jaguars are 3-10, and the Browns are 3-10. But the Raiders are the only 2-11 team.
It's rough. It's really rough.
So that's
like
AFC.
I
that's
bet
AFC.
against them to make something good out of it, but then I can't do that.
In the NFC, the New York Giants are 2-11.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So you're tied for last place. You're tied.
Worst team in the conference.
Niners 6-7, not a great. Seahawks
they might make the playoffs.
8-5. Eagles 11-2. Goddamn Eagles.
The Birds.
Good for Philly. I mean, look, Philly is like Oakland, but
so.
they're winners. Oh, I guess they're not even Oakland. They're not even Oakland anymore. They're Vegas.
The Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, I thought you mean like the cities there are getting like Kensington or something is supposed to be
like
really,
they're trash people and they love their football team.
Yeah,
but that's a lot of places.
Yes.
God, 11-2.
2-11.
The Lions are 12-1. Holy shit! When were the last time? I guess they're good now. I had no idea. Well, it's a brutal game. I don't really enjoy it while it lasts because, I mean, it's only going to get worse.
For the Raiders?
Football.
Oh, what do you mean?
So, I guess parents will always let their kids play football in certain parts of the country. And you'll always have an endless talent pool. The thing that sucks about football is you can't get international players, right? Or is that starting to happen?
Well, they don't play American football in other countries. They play baseball, but they don't really play football.
Baseball can always sign
I mean, it's not like illegal for the NFL to get players. There's not a big player base in Eastern Europe like there is for basketball,
But football is the best. It's the most intense sport.
Most money
because it's the most like concentrated, quickest season. It's like super intense season. So you don't really get that with the other.
No, the baseball season is so goddamn long. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it just goes and goes and goes. So, well, I don't mean it's sports. It's brutal. But the cool thing about sports, though, is like, I mean, very often the better team wins. It's not a thing like movies where they're like, the
underdogs. Yeah.
The nice guy won. He won because he has a good heart.
Yeah, no.
It's just brutal reality. This guy won. He's better. It's like Highlander. Christopher Lambert is so much better than Kurgan. So much more powerful. He's got a bigger head. Who cares if he's not 6'5"? He's a dumb, poor Scottish guy. How could he beat this amazing warrior? Ratings. I give it a nice 3.5 stars. I like the look of the movie.
Yeah, I was actually going to go with 4 or even 4.5 stars. I liked everything about this movie. I thought it was cool. The music fucking kicked ass. The
Queen.
Yeah. Did Queen made all that music for this movie? I can't remember what it's called there.
I believe they did.
It seems like a lot of those songs fit in
I
there.
think they were going to do one song and they just liked the movie so much because the guy did music videos. It was a very, they just liked how it looked and they thought it looked cool. So they're like, let's do more.
Makes sense. All right, let's talk about the guns. This movie's got a bunch of guns, bunch of cop guns. It's even got like a flintlock pistol from back in the day. But what I will talk about is the submachine guns in this movie. There's a bunch of them. The most important scene with the submachine gun is where Mantuas, we see him in his Firebird and he's rolling down the street. Like I said, in his car, he's got a Thompson submachine gun. He's got a Mac 10. He's got an Uzi. He's got an AK. He's also got a Heckler and Koch, Heckler and Koch G3, which is, I don't know why the hell he has that. Anyways, you see him grab the Mac 10, which is the gun I want to talk about. He grabs the Mac 10, but then when he gets out of the car, he has an Uzi for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that was the case. Mac 10 is an American invention. It's basically our Uzi. Mac 10 stands for the Military Armament Corporation Model 10. That's where it gets the name Mac 10. Chamber invented in the U.S., uses a U.S. round 45 ACP, the same bullet that was used in the last episode when we were talking about the 1911. You'll see this gun. It's the same gun that Snake Plissken uses in Escape from New York. It's like a little mini Uzi, but with a larger bullet. And you can get an integrated suppressor for it that actually makes it more accurate.
Oh, yeah, because it's a longer barrel. Now, I don't want to spoil the scene in the order. That movie with the White Power Aryan Nation bank robbers.
Yes.
One of the greatest Mac 10 scenes I've ever seen in a movie ever.
Oh, that movie looked interesting. Now I want to see it.
An incredible scene where they use a Mac 10 and I was like jaw on the floor, like couldn't believe how fucking violent and like brutal.
Yeah.
Another
way to look at this gun is like an updated version of the Tech 9. Tech 9 is a garbage automatic pistol.
Tech 9 is basically a handgun.
Yes.
That's automatic.
Yes, it's stupid. And what I do like about these 80s movies and mostly 80s movies is they used a lot of submachine guns. The advent of modern Kevlar armor has basically made submachine guns obsolete. You know,
everything today is AR-15.
Yes.
There is no. That's it.
Yeah.
Because what is the range of an AR-15?
500 yards, 300, 500 yards.
And it's killing. Like if you've played Call of Duty and used the AR-15, or what do they call it in the military?
M16.
It's a rifle. Yeah. It has a ton of the bullets are long. You have a ton of gunpowder and they just rip you open and kill you. Whereas if you think of a bullet, the size of it, like a 9mm, not a lot of gunpowder, it loses speed. Now, I heard something I saw on Twitter. When you shoot a gun in the air and the bullet falls down, the terminal velocity of a bullet falling is not fatal. That's what they were saying.
What kills you then?
Or are you saying if you shot a bullet straight into the air and then it came straight down? They said the terminal velocity of it going down is weaker than a bullet being shot forward.
Okay, so it's just not going to hurt you.
I mean, it would hurt, but it's like perhaps it's not super deadly or something. I'm sure in the right circumstances it can kill you.
Sure.
But it's like an AR-15 is firing a fucking round straight, accurate, and far.
Yes.
Whereas a submachine gun,
it's a pistol round.
And you're just getting a lot of them, and they're kind of inaccurate.
Yeah. I mean, good but in any sort of war where you've got body armor, it's useless,
I'm surprised automatic weapons were as legal as long as they were.
1994 is when the assault weapon ban happened.
But what about automatic weapons?
You can
Automatic
own
weapon.
automatic weapons, just not in California. You need a special sticker, and it's extremely expensive. Just California is all the gun laws that are weird.
I heard this other thing too, that like
You can own a
cops
suppressor in some states.
can buy military grade weapons and then they'll just like keep them for personal use, and there's like all sorts of crazy, like cops can buy guns that citizens can't.
Cops can also buy more. They can buy like 2 or 3 guns at it. Well, I don't know if 3, but they can buy more than 1 gun at a time, which you can't do as a civilian.
Oh, you can't buy more than 1 gun at a time.
No, you cannot. You got to buy the one.
In California.
Pass the background check. And then in California, there's a 10-day waiting period between when you buy the gun and you can actually take it out of the store.
What if I want to buy a shotgun, a rifle, and a handgun and several thousand rounds of ammunition that day?
The guns are going to take you about a month.
Come on.
The ammunition, you can buy all the ammunition you want.
But I'm angry right now, Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
I got things to do. I need so many. I need multiple handguns on me.
That's why they have the cooldown period.
Oh,
and now there's actually also background check to buy ammo too.
In California.
Yeah. Yes. And you should be able to buy 1,000 rounds of ammo and not be questioned. What if you just want to stock up? I don't think buying 1,000 bullets shows intent to do anything wrong. I don't understand why that's a big deal.
Well, I believe it's like how many people get arrested who have warrants just by getting pulled over.
Yeah.
It's like the more you add these little things where they just check your ID and they run your history.
Yeah.
They have like this guy who got arrested today or yesterday who shot the CEO. We're recording on December 10th. He was arrested yesterday at the McDonald's. He presented the cops a fake ID. Okay. Stupid, right?
Yes.
However, if he had presented his actual ID and somebody said you were the guy, like somebody recognized him, now he'll be a suspect until the case is solved.
Yeah.
Because they were like, well, run the history on everybody we like picked up, blah, blah, blah. Like if he didn't have the weapons, the fucking suppressor, the fucking bullets, and the fucking money, and all the fake IDs and all the shit, and they couldn't take him in, and they just had to question him, they would still get him because they knew his identity, and they would have figured it out. Eventually, they would, FBI or someone would have been like, because it's like a lot of these cases are just solved by cold cases are just solved by guys going like, well, who are the suspects? Who did you question? And just run them, just look at them again. So,
well, and the DNA shit really sewed everything up for crime. I mean, it's very difficult to get away with a crime now with the DNA evidence.
Sure, they would have taken.
So what you're saying is Mangione flashed a fake ID because might as well try it, right? If he got away with it, great, but he already knows he's not going to get away with it, so just throw that out there and
they said
the fraud charge.
I read the police report or something, and his hands were shaking.
Yeah, well, that was not good. He's got shaky hands. Suspicious.
He's a pussy.
Yeah.
But I think they knew they could like break him very easily.
Yeah.
But he's dumb. I can't believe he didn't throw the gun away. But maybe he wanted it for protection. Oh,
they found the suppressor. Where did they find the gun? In the backpack?
Yeah.
Oh, with the Monopoly money, he put the gun.
No. That's the first backpack they found in Central Park. This found it on him he had a large bag in McDonald's with him.
Oh, I thought he got caught with the suppressor. I didn't know he also got caught with the gun. What a retard.
I believe he had everything.
Nice.
Well, then shoot the cops. What are you keeping the gun for?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kill yourself. You have nothing to live for.
I was honestly surprised he didn't kill himself.
They usually do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously his family's rich, so he's gonna get a good lawyer, but he ain't getting off, obviously. So, I mean, living the rest of your life in prison with all the snacks you want.
All this money can do is drag the trial out.
Yeah.
I mean, is his family even going to pay for his lawyer?
Yeah, I mean, what's the point?
It's going to cost so much money.
Yeah.
And they're going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
to
for
pay
nothing.
For nothing.
Yeah.
It's like
He's gonna plea bargain. I would bet dollars to donuts that he's gonna plea bargain for sure. They got him on video shooting a fucking guy. I mean, it's like,
no,
how
but
are you
okay.
gonna fight that?
But I think he likes the attention, and maybe he can. And also, there's a thing too where you can't admit guilt. So even if you're gonna lose, you'll just say you're not guilty.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not. I never did it. It wasn't me. I just have all these things. I have all this evidence. But it's like the only reason people like him is because he did it. So
yeah.
He's
fucked.
He's completely fucked. And also stockholders are not gonna let health insurance companies do anything different. You kill a CEO, they just put in another guy, and they're like, they still want the same results, the same profit, the same everything. There is no change. This isn't Highlander. You can't just take the head off a company and take it over. There's no justice in this world, unfortunately. And that's what makes Highlander so beautiful. There's justice. The good guys win.
Capitalism sucks.
There can be only one man with all the money.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I have all the money. I'm Elon Musk.
I mean, it's only a matter of time. What Massachusetts has universal health care. Eventually, California will, and then the rest of the country will go with it.
Keep telling yourself that. Yeah. Well, I'll say this. It's crazy how bad it can get, but like housing costs, health insurance costs, and food costs are just going to get higher and higher and higher because it's essentially a monopoly. It's like crack or heroin. You fucking need, but you need it. Like you need these services. So if they don't do something, people are going to lose their shit. And it will break down society. Cool. But if you look at Canada, their housing costs are like way higher than America.
Are they?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. They have so much space. Oh, but everyone wants to go around the space.
They have a lot of foreign buyers, Chinese buyers. Yeah. It's like you gotta do something about the housing costs, but yada yada yada. Poor people, working class people vote for Republicans. So what are you gonna do? It's pretty much it's fucked up. They don't care.
Just keep your head down and not talk to other people about politics. That's what I do.
It's just that one. It's a rigged game. It's like Highlander, but rigged. It's not the beauty of the Raiders. The Raiders are true losers. They don't deserve to win. They are blowing it. They aren't. They live in Vegas. They're having fun.
We've needed a quarterback for 20 years. It's a problem. We just haven't had a good quarterback in 20 years. And our current quarterback is terrible. And the backup quarterback who missed that hike just got injured in the last game. He's out for the season.
There's always next year. There's always hope. All right, later.
They're talking about Deion Sanders' son coming to the Raiders as the new quarterback is who the hot one is. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. I'm not sure what movie we'll do next. Maybe we'll do another listener request. Maybe we'll do another movie. We'll see. I kind of like to break them up.
Did any of those foreign reviews have any requests? Or you could
There's a movie called Nirvana.
Oh, that's where that came from.
That's Italian movie with Christopher Lambert. That looks insane. And then one of our oldest listeners, I believe, requested Rules of Attraction. That's a fun movie. So we'll see.
Is that our UK friend or someone else?
No, it's not our UK friend.
Oh, okay.
I believe he lives in Eastern Europe.
Oh, cool.
His username used to be Degenerate Gambler. But now his username is Girls Don't Poop.
Oh, that guy. Okay, I know what that is.
He's an old-time listener.
I think I actually unfollowed and blocked him, but I will bring. I think I'll bring him back. I'll go look for him and bring him back up if he's in there.
Much appreciated. Love our listeners. Follow us, chat with us. Everybody go on Twitter, follow Men on Film Pod. Blue Sky sucks. It's a bunch of positive, boring shit. Can't post cool videos of people getting their heads blown off and stuff.
Lame.
All right, later.
Later, man.